Midlife writing crisis, that's me. I have not been inspired the past couple of days. Yeah, I said it. I have not been inspired the last couple of days to write. And I don't know why, because I love writing. I'm in love with writing. And lately, I do not want to write in my books. Why? I don't know. It's not like I don't feel like there's anything wrong with the stories. Now, is there something wrong with me? Maybe. I have been not up for it, plain and simple. I have been trying to. I tried to write in my middle grade book just about every day this week, and I just cannot get myself to do it. I cannot do it. I don't feel like doing it, I think, is the only reason that there is. Also, revisions. I've been trying to work on my revisions, and I don't feel like revising. When I get like this, I have to do a look back. That's what I call it. I do a look back to get inspired again. And I'll talk about that in a second. But back to the midlife writing crisis. I have been writing for young adult audience pretty much my whole life. But lately, I've been really thinking about it. And when I started thinking about the books that inspired me to start writing, I was like, damn, I love me some middle grade. And I'm starting to think that I might be a middle grade author instead of a young adult or an adult author. Now, mind you, writing for these audiences are very different when you're comparing young adult to middle grade. And if you have any questions about what the differences are, what are the key differences, and how do you go about writing each age group, go check out the video I did with Sarita. We did it live for Write to Market. And we will be having more updates for that podcast soon, but we're kind of, we're trying to be professional. We are really trying to be professional. Like, we are upgrading a couple things, figuring out camera angles to be doing the podcast from two different locations, topics. Like, we are like working on our podcast name. Call us a podcast, okay? Because that is exactly what we are. And we discuss everything from writing to marketing and just banter, chat, whatever, um, explicit things here and there. But it's fun. It's been fun. And we are working that out. I don't even know why I started. Oh, yeah. YA adult and middle grade topic. So we did go get into detail about it there, but I can make a separate video if I'm saying, if you want a separate video, I can do it. Now, that's me putting more shit on my shoulders that I shouldn't be putting on my shoulders. That's my exact problem right now. That's why I'm uninspired right now and I don't feel like writing, because I do too much at one time. And I need to learn to stop. I need to learn to stop. But then again, it's good for my writing craft, but it's not good for me mentally. I got to remember that. Which also in turn can be bad for my writing craft. So, you know what I'm saying? Double standards. I thought about when I get in these slumps, I go back and I'm like, okay, why am I doing this? What inspired me to do this? Why do I love writing? I went back, I looked at all of the stories that inspired me as a kid, and I have them right here behind me. Okay, let's do a little presentation, talent show, show and tell, whatever you want to call it. No, I didn't call it a talent show. I guess, you know what? This could be a talent show if you think about it, because, hello, writing talent show. What I be doing when I'm writing? We're doing a little blast to the past, because these are books that inspired me when I was younger, mostly middle grade, mostly middle school, elementary school. These are what I look back at when I'm feeling uninspired, when I don't feel like writing, when I'm like, why the freak am I even doing this again? I pull these books. Let's call this segment The Books That Made Me. Okay. So we're going to start off with Junie B. Jones. Gotta love her, gotta have her. She sparked my love for characters in books. I think that's where it started. My love for characters in books. Barbara Park made such a great character. Like, she did. Junie B. Jones felt real. Like, I felt like I knew her. I was like, Junie, I know. I don't want to be going to no farm neither. I am the captain of field day when I go do field day too. And I just feel like I could resonate with Junie B. Jones. She just felt like she was my age, a real girl around that time. And that is what started it, my love for characters, because before Junie B. Jones, it was Amelia Bedelia. And Amelia Bedelia is about the same reader level. And I don't have an Amelia Bedelia book, but I definitely should get one. Amelia Bedelia was a maid, I believe, a housekeeper or something like that. And she worked, and it just showed like what she did throughout her day, like different things would happen, whatever. But Amelia Bedelia also was a very good character in a book for kids. Felt very real, and it just goes to show that making real characters counts big time when it comes to writing stories. Felt like felt like Amelia Bedelia was real. Felt like Junie B. Jones was real. So those two girls were locked in for life. Okay, Amelia Bedelia, Junie B. Jones were locked in for life. Y'all made me love reading. Then we have Anne Martin. Hello, Anne Martin. Anything by Anne Martin. Excellent characters, excellent story. Anne Martin, I believe, is what made me not, it did not only, seal my love for characters, but it also sealed my love for a story because all of her stories, I would get immersed in them. I would feel like I was in that world. She does very good at creating these worlds around these characters as well. Not only just creating the characters, but creating the worlds around the characters as well, to where you feel like you're there, like you can see what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The way that she writes her sentences and the way that she constructs her scenes, which writing scenes are very important. They are the bloodline of a book. The scenes are the heartbeats in a novel. Scenes have to be nice. They have to, have a point, make sense. They have to have that, what do we talk about? Climax, resolution, all of that. And she does a very good job at, what do we talk about? We never talked about that. The book. But if you are a writer, you probably heard this before. So, Anne Martin, hello. The Babysitters Club, Lemonade Stand Asses, all of that. Loved reading her books. Then we have Coyote Tales. This is literally just a short, regular little tale. Literally, look how thin this is. But I love it so much. For kids, again. But Coyote Tales by Thomas King, if you have not read this before, when you were younger, or just in general, which I wasn't that young when I read it because it was not, I mean, the shit was out in what I think, I don't even remember. But honestly, I don't even remember when this came out. But I do know I read the shit. I don't know how old I was, but I liked it because I was like, this reminds me of like folklore, like folklorish, like for kids. Um, and I just like the storytelling and the cheeky humor in it. And I don't know, like as far as personality and narration, this is why I really liked this book. And this inspired me. All right. Next up on the list, we have Obsessed by Allison Britz. Now, I this book did inspire me. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. It did inspire me. It's based on a true story. Obviously, it's a memoir, and I don't know. I just really enjoyed. I remember enjoying the time that I read this, and when I was in high school, and I just thought it was such an interesting storyline. So this inspired me as far as storylines go, even though this is a memoir, but just, how it was written and what it's about exactly. This inspired me as far as the concept, I guess you can say. And oh my gosh, another memoir, Memoirs of a Geisha. If you have not read this yet, definitely read it. This inspired me when it came to author voice, narrator's voice, and character voice, as well as how they told this story, how they portrayed it. The beginning, the opening. Love the hook of the story of this book. It is a memoir, but it definitely is a good read. So if you haven't read this, read it. It was very inspirational, captivating, immersive, all the things. Then we have The Glass Castle on the list. Now, The Glass Castle, love it. Love Jeanette Walls. She also wrote another story, Hang the Moon, which I haven't read yet. But her memoir is very, very good. A lot of people, some people think that it's maybe a little bit unbelievable as far as, things that actually happened to her when she was younger and her remembering these things. But if I'm being honest, I think I fucking remember when I was in the womb. Does that sound crazy? It probably does sound crazy, but I literally remember, I think when I was, when I tell people this, they're like, bitch, shut the fuck up. But no, seriously, I think I do. But I do definitely remember when I was a toddler as early as one. I'm serious.
I'm all like, how the fuck do you remember that? And I'm like, girl, I don't know, but I do remember when this happened. And she's like, you were fucking 1 year old. You were 2 years old. You were 3. How do you remember this? I don't know. But
You can't hold nothing past nobody, okay? So I loved the story because of the storytelling voice, the pacing of it, the format, the way that which is, I think she used the heroes and something else combined as far as how she set up to write this. But love this book again. That's neither here nor there. I became inspired for my own writing after reading this book and wanting to tell my own story, but also just her storytelling voice, how she's like a direct storyteller, and there's so much personality there in the narration, and her keeping true to herself as an adult, looking back on these things and using that, childlike narration as well. She did that well. Loved it. And then we have Jodi Picoult. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right. Never have probably said it right, but that's neither here nor there because I read your books and I love them either way. And I've read her for years now. I fell in love with her, I think, first when I was in high school. And I just love every book that she writes. I just love it. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I just fucking love it. And she just knows how to tell a story. She's more of like a not a direct storyteller, but she's more of like a slow it down a bit. Like, let's talk about this. She uses language um beautifully. And that's why I love her books. She uses it beautifully, but in a way that's also direct, if it makes sense. So it's not like a lagging old thing, like fucking, I don't know, Ray back there, Fahrenheit. He is one of those like poetic. He uses language to tell a story. Like when he says things, there's meanings there, a whole nother thing to unlock. And that's what I mean. Hers is, it's beautiful, but it's also direct. So all of these books inspired me. There's plenty more by plenty other authors, but these are the main ones that I look back at when I am feeling uninspired. I also look back and I read different short stories. I always search for new short stories, new short story authors, and I also always have times where I just want to read short stories that I fell in love with, no matter, from authors from like the 1980s and before that. And they helped me get back on track as well. I did all of that, and I also keep this picture on my desk of my brothers and I, the Rascals, and that inspires me as well. So I have my picture. I've had my picture next to my desk. I've read through all of these books again, and I'm feeling inspired again, but in a different way. So that's why I said insert midlife writing crisis, because now in my mind, I'm seeing things completely differently. Now I'm like, dude, are you even supposed to be writing YA an adult? Like, I felt a spark when I started this middle grade book that I've been working on, and the spark is still there, though I have not felt like writing it. I think it's because of all of the other things that I've been having going on in my life, but also because of having to do these revisions, and I put so much on my shoulders at one time. It's taking away from my creativity. It's taking away from my burn. Like, it's taking the fire out of my creative passion, and I'm putting all of that into all these other things that I honestly shouldn't be putting on myself all at once, but still do for some reason. And I have came to the conclusion that I think I am a middle grade writer. I think I am. Don't quote me, because like I said, this is a midlife writing crisis. This could fucking change. But as of right now, I think I'm a middle grade writer. Now, Should I have known this years before? Yes. But also, I may be both. I may be YA as well as middle grade. And they differentiate in a lot of ways. There's a lot of different key points when it comes to writing middle grade and YA. So I will say that if you are interested in writing middle grade or YA, if you have any questions about middle grade or YA, or you have questions about the key differences in middle grade, YA, and adult, and writing it, and how you would switch up as an author when it comes to writing each audience, check out my video that I made with Sarita, Right to Market. I've come to the conclusion that R.L. Stine is right. I was looking at all of the books that inspired me, and I missed one. No, I didn't. Did not miss that one at all. No. So I started thinking about all the books that inspire me. And, I was looking at the middle grade books that inspire me, and I was like, wow, what if I'm a middle grade writer? What if this whole time I should have just been writing middle grade? And I thought about it, and I thought about how I felt when I first started reading books in middle school, elementary school, high school, how those books made me feel. And then I started thinking about Junie B. Jones, how Junie B. Jones made me feel when I first started writing. And I was like, I want to make kids feel that way. I want them to start to love writing. I want them to start to love reading. I want them to enjoy storytelling. I want to be there when they first find their love for writing. I want to be there when they're like, Mom, please, I need another Sierra Hill book or whatever. I'm going to have a pen name. And I've already actually made a pen name for middle grade, Nanny Clark. So they're going to be like, I need another Nanny Clark book right now. I need it for Christmas, or take me to the library because I know they have a new selection there of Nanny Clark. I need the next whatever of that, whatever she wrote. Don't care what it's about. So because, okay, like R.L. Stine said, middle grade kids are not full of, like, they're not being weighed down with must read books, which when you get to like middle school and high school, middle school, I'm stupid. When you get to like high school, you have these like must read list when you have to read like Ernest Hemingway, which isn't a drag, you know what I'm saying? But when you're in that grade level, maybe at the time, it feels like a drag, unless you love reading and writing. But they have like all these must read lists. But when you're in like elementary school, middle school, there's no must read. Like, you just read. You get AR points if you've ever had that system. You get rewards for reading however many books and doing the little quizzes on them. We have that in Virginia, and I used to fucking tear that shit up. But that's when you just read for fun. I want an audience that just reads for fun. And I know adults also just read maybe for fun as well because they love reading. But when you're writing for middle grade, these middle graders are picking up these books because they want to pick up these books. They still believe in magic and monsters. They're passionate, loyal fans. Like, they be writing the authors and stuff. Like, I love this book, but even though I'm not that smart, I love this book. They're honest, and they're like in the middle of forming lifelong reading habits. So you're like shaping them. So like those authors in the middle grade category are like shaping these new readers like to love these books and become lifelong readers. And I want to be a part of that. I want to write for middle grade. So I think I'm switching gears here. Middle grade it is. Now, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is there a way that I can change my books that I already have and transform them into middle grade? Probably not. But I could get close to that, and I can transform them both into YA, which honestly, I don't know why I said both, because Hazel Bagley and Her Pebbles, that is YA already. It's a coming of age story. And Legs is more so adult, but I think I can dim it down a bit and make it YA. So we are moving over to Nanny Clark, guys. Nanny Clark 2026 for president. So, just a side note, like I said, I'm working on a bunch of things at one time because I don't make no sense. And I have not been writing. I feel uninspired. I've been writing short stories. Let me rephrase that. I have not been writing in my books, but I have been writing short stories. I'm on a short story like binge, I guess you can say. I've been writing the hell out of them. I've written about like 4 these past 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh, I just love it. It's really building up my creative drive. And that's another thing that I do when I start feeling uninspired is I just start writing short stories. I start writing short stories and then get myself out of that little don't feel like writing in my book thing. Look at these books that inspired me, and then I get back on track. So That's what I'm hoping to do today. I will go ahead and try to write. I hope you weren't looking for a vlog style update today because I'm definitely not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm uninspired. I'm not in the mood to do anything. I'm not inspired for YouTube. I'm not inspired for anything. So I hope you're still sticking with me. That was just my little take for today as far as me being uninspired, me not feeling like writing, me not feeling like doing shit when it comes to writing in my books. I have been on a short story binge, and also I am like even thinking about starting to submit to magazines again. So that's going to be a whole nother thing in itself. But I'm just see, look, I told you I put stuff on my shoulders for no reason, and I'm also still working on that game. So also update for that. Hello, it's been going. It's hectic right now. The initial storyline that I sent off before that was approved. Loved it. They loved it, and it's just the back now of writing the fucking story for the game. Now, writing a story for the game is not what you think as like, sitting down, writing a regular little story, linear story. No, it is one story, right? That has all these other connecting legs to that story. Think of it like a fucking octopus. You have the initial story right here, the fucking octopus's body, and then all of the legs are these different fucking stories. And then if you want to count the little suckers on the tentacles as well, they are also things that you're going to include in that fucking story on the other sideline stories, call them subplots, I guess you can say. And yeah, so that's been fun as fuck, racking my brain trying to do that. But it also has helped me learn more about the writing process. It has, put a little fire in me to be better. So that has lit a match under my ass, and it has been honestly, it has been great, but also it has been a thinking process, which I love things that make me think, and I love things that aren't too easy, and I love trying new things. If you're a writer, it's great to always try new things, try new formats, try new styles, try new ways to, write a story other than your traditional format, beginning, to whatever, which obviously it has to have a beginning, middle, and end, but how you tell that beginning and middle and end can be different. Does not have to be the same as every book that you read, every story that you read, chronological, does not have to be none of that. So yeah, doing this video game has really helped my thought process when it comes to actually telling a story. And I think that's going to help me with my regular stories, books, and things like that, and short stories as well, because you have to think more and the characters have to be, they don't have to be as, they have a backstory for a video game, of course, but when you're writing something versus visual, when it's going to be visual, it's a lot different. It's how you write it, which I can explain further once I'm able to actually share more details about it. But so far, it has been a task. Like I said, think of it like an octopus. There's so many different stories depending on what can happen, depending on what the player does, the character does. Um, a lot more in detail, and the backstory is a lot more in depth. So that's how things have been going. I've been fucking hating writing in my book for some reason, but I'm loving writing everything else. And I think that's just an excuse for me to not have to finish the new draft that I just started. And I think it's also an excuse for me to not finish legs. Like literally, I'm on revisions, and why the fuck can I just go ahead and finish them? Because I'm a piece of shit, basically, and I do it to myself. So that's the end of the update. Any questions? Just reach out to me. Just wanted to tap in with you guys.